love this franchise. I have been playing Shin Megami Tensei games since Nocturne came out on PS2. I have the collector's edition of that on Steam. I played SMT 4 and 4 Apocalypse, even though they were on the DS and really inconvenient to play. I bought the collector's edition from every single Shin Megami Tensei game to come out since forever. I have physical copies of Devil Summoner 2, Digital Devil Saga 1, Digital Devil Saga 2. I've literally given this company thousands of dollars. This is important because I bought this. Bought the collector's edition, and then I bought a second copy digitally because I forgot my PS5 is a digital only. I haven't gotten the special edition stuff yet. I also paid $30 extra for the DLC because you don't get the DLC when you buy the collector's edition for some reason. I don't know what they were thinking with all of this, but you know what? I pre-ordered the collector's edition the day it became more available for pre-order because I wanted the collector's edition, and they're usually very hard to get. This was the only game I bought that month because it was so damn expensive. $200 just for the collector's edition. And then of course, like I said, I bought the digital copy to the game, $60, and the DLC, $30. So that's actually $300. What did I get for my $300? Probably the worst Shin Megami Tensei game to come out since like the Super Nintendo. This game is bad. For a Shin Megami Tensei game, it is borderline unacceptable. The game's protagonist is Ringo. She's a super stylish AI who is made real for reasons that are spoilers and goes into the real world because she has to stop the apocalypse, which is just named. It's like, it's the end of the world, you have to do something. And she's like, okay, and so her and her sister go to do that. Their job is each to find a person whose death could lead to the end of the world, and both of them fail miserably. Luckily, Ringo has the power of Jesus, and she can revive her target. Meanwhile, the other one dies because her sister wasn't as smart as she was, I guess? It's very unclear. She revives them through a power she has called soul hacking, where she hacks into their souls and goes down, and she's like, hey, you probably don't want to die, right? And they're like, nah, I don't. And she's like, cool, come back. And they're like, okay. And that's how she revives people. Alright. Whatever, by diving into their mind and convincing them that they don't want to die, and it's not really much of a fight. She has to do the same thing for 2 other people who she's trying to get to save and immediately fails at. But again, luckily she can revive them, but then that's all she can revive, because something might happen to her if she revives anybody else, even though the only thing that really happened from her reviving the first 3 people was her passing out for a little while. So, that's fine. You know what? Shin Megami Tensei games don't always have the greatest openers. But the newfound party of 4, consisting of Ringo, Saizo, the actually super cool shark tooth gangster guy with a freaking Tommy gun, Arrow, who is a big old pile of boring, and Milady, who we probably shouldn't have revived because Jesus Christ, she's awful. Then they go into this weird soul realm thing that, okay, look, I'm not gonna sit here and give you play-by-play for the story. It's bad. It's rough at best. 4 RPG protagonists go to find the MacGuffins, and then they go to find them and they fail, and then they go to find them and they fail, and eventually they continue to fail. And it's just, where to even begin? So just forget about the story. You know what? Saizo and Ringo are dope. Arrow, Milady, her name is Milady. It's fine. Arrow, Milady, kind of boring. Other characters are pretty cool. The game has a lot of style, I'll give it that. Like, everybody's outfits are dope. Ringo's little fur coat thingy is amazing. It's all great. The little mascot that we haven't gotten our plushie of yet, but just nothing about the game is interesting enough to keep you playing as far as the story goes. The music is, of course, really good. SMT always does a great job with music. It's made better by the fact that the DLC that I paid $30 for came with music from all the other Shin Megami Tensei games. You have Persona 5 music, you have Persona 4 music, you have music from Devil Summoner, you have music from SMT Apocalypse. Like, it's actually got a lot of good music in the game, not including the game's own soundtrack, which is pretty dope too. That's fine. The voice acting is amazing. I love the voice acting. Even though I hate Milady and Arrow, everybody's lines are like well read and they're interesting, and even down to where Ringo does her stupid little rap at what's-his-face, it's just like, oh, I love this. And it almost had me. But then the game started. The gameplay is like a weird, it's almost like a Persona game, but not really. You take turns, you take a turn, then your enemies take a turn, then you take a turn, then your enemies take a turn. It's very standard fare. Your goal is to build up towards what is effectively Persona's all-out attack. You hit their weaknesses, you get stacks in the upper right hand corner. Then you do damage based on the number of stacks that you've accumulated based on how many weaknesses this is. The problem with this is it always happens at the end of the turn, and it's a long animation to happen. It's like Ringo stands back and then she shoots her gun, and then the demons go pew, 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 and then they go out, and then they hover above the enemy, and then they go roar, and then they attack, and then it displays damage. And then if you have any demons that give bonuses during those attacks, you have to press square for that or whatever button prompt it gives you. Like I had a Jack Frost who would heal me when I did those, and so if I had it on auto or was trying to go fast, it would pop up to press square, and I'd just be like, why isn't it moving? Because I would forget, because I had just gotten the ability to do this. The weakness system plays out just like any other SMT with one exception. There's no light and dark, there's only a ruin element, and everything is weak to it. At least at the beginning of the game, almost every demon you get is going to be weak to ruin, and it is awful because getting hit by a weakness hurts. Thankfully, the enemy demons don't get stacks, but still, you start taking a lot of damage really quickly. The game can't be played on hard mode at the start. It just can't. Like, you'll get to a certain point where you get demon checked, and you run into, on normal and hard mode, the next problem with the game, which is the money. There is not enough money to go around in this game. It costs between 15 and 80,000 yen to summon demons from the compendiums. And some of these mini bosses will have, like, they'll be weak to gun, but you won't know that until you go into it because they change weaknesses. If you fight an enemy out in the wild and it's weak to gun and ruin, when you go into their special fight for the side quest, it may not be weak to one of those or either of those. It could have an entirely different weakness. You don't know. So all you can do is go in and die and then try again. They also put limitations on you during these mini boss fights in the Aeon dungeon, which is like you can't use arrow or you can't use Milady or something like that. You're sometimes outnumbered and you can't use normal attacks. They don't let you use commander abilities or items, which is the stupidest thing because a core gameplay mechanic is being able to change your demon mid-combat. You can only do it once per turn. And then for these special fights, they just take it away. So if you go in there and you don't know what's coming, you're just gonna die. There was this one where it was an Inugami, and then I was like, cool, I can fight an Inugami, and then I started to fight it. And it was one of, then there was also, not, in addition to the Inugami, there was one of those paper Inugamis. I don't remember the name of it, but it was there, and then I died because I didn't expect that. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I reloaded the autosave, because it does autosave you, thankfully. And then I went to fight it again, and I was like, cool, I know what this is weak to. So I set it up, and then I used the ability that it was supposed to be weak to, and it wasn't weak to it. And then I wiped again. This was a normal. This is after these had given me so many problems that I had already switched off hard mode. Oh, and then I mentioned these little mini bosses also self-destruct after like 5 turns. They don't self-destruct, they just use a super strong almighty skill that you're probably gonna die to, unless you're way over leveled. And I don't know if it scales or what because I got sick of dealing with it. So not only do you have to go into the fight with the correct demons and abilities attached, but you also have to do it in a set number of turns. So it's both, it's a demon check in a game where you don't have enough money to tame demon, you don't get to tame whatever demon you want, nor do you have enough money to buy them from the compendium, but also it's a damage check. Great, awesome. You will be farming within the first hour of the game because you won't be able to upgrade your comp, you won't be able to get demons, you're just gonna be stuck. The level designs are bland. If anybody reviewed Final Fantasy 13 badly because they called it Final Hallway 13, this game better have gotten a 0 because it is just hallways that branch off into dead ends, and sometimes you find a demon. That's another conversation for just a second. Sometimes you find one of your demons to talk to and you get an item or you get a new demon. But overall, it's just bland, boring, single colored hallways that get more and more complex as you go, where like, oh, well now you have to go down 15 different doors, or oh, this door is locked, go find the key. Where's the key? Well, one of your demons might have it, so go hunt them down. Speaking of hunting down demons, the only way to recruit new demons in this game is if one of your demons that you send out to scout at the start of a map finds one, and then you talk to it and negotiate with it like normal. You only have to get one thing correct in order to negotiate with a demon, and usually they just want a thing. Hi, give me 3 medicines. Hi, give me half your life. Hi, give me half your SP. That's no problem. The problem is, it's all random. There's no way to tell what a demon has until you've talked to it. So you could see your buddy off in the distance that requires you to walk past like 6 random encounters and around several corners to get to, and then he has nothing. He has like a Jack Frost that you already have in your party or whatever. Or worse, you get to it and he offers you up, it's a rare one, and he offers you up like a level demon that is higher level than you. And you can't get that. So you walked all the way over there and it was nothing. And items are the same. Your demons will be standing around and then you talk to them and you never know what you're gonna get. You might get materials for upgrading your comp that you need. You might get money. There's no telling what you'll get. And you also don't know what it does because there's so many things available so quickly, you're never gonna memorize it all. This game is a cluster. It's absolutely a cluster. Another thing that you get in this game, accessories. You can equip 1 accessory per person. They do things like increase fire damage, increase wind damage, increase ice damage, immune to poison, immune to sleep, that sort of thing. Like, standard fare. The problem is, since the core mechanic of the game is constantly swapping between demons because you never know what you're gonna run into because you don't see what the enemies are on the map, none of it matters. You can equip Ringo with Lightning Augment 3, and then you get into a fight. Oh god, I gotta switch to a fire demon and to use that, so you do that. And now the Lightning Augment's useless, and you can't switch your accessories in combat. So you just end up not caring about your accessories. Because what's the point? Who cares if Milady is better at fire and physical attacks? Who cares if Ringo specializes in electricity? Who cares if Saizo specializes in healing abilities? None of it matters because you constantly have to switch your equipped demon, and so you can't have that focus on their stuff. It's all this. It's so much either guesswork or the game feels like it's meant to be played on New Game Plus. It feels like you should already know everything in the game so that you can deal with it accordingly. And there's just so much randomness, and there's so much not knowing, and then there's so much just... I'm used to SMT games being fair. I played Persona 5 on hard. I played Persona 4 on hard. I played Persona 3 on hard. I played SMT 5 on hard. I played SMT 4 Apocalypse on hard if it was available. I don't remember. I'm good at these games. It's very hard for me to get caught off guard on these because I know them so well, but the just amount of information they do not give you in this game negates any fun you might could have had with it. Forget the fact that you never even get to see your demons. The only time you ever get to see them is when you do your little all-out attack thing at the end. And you're normally going to skip that because it takes so long for it to happen. There's other weird things that don't make sense, like the risky enemies, which seems like they took a page from their own games. What was it? Etrian Odyssey. They're very similar to the Etrian Odyssey FOEs is what they were called, I believe. But they pop up randomly. They're not on like a set path. They can just appear in front of you, and you have to either fight them or move on. You can't sneak attack them, and 9 times out of 10, if they touch you, they're sneak attacking you. And they're super strong, and they're higher level, and I'm pretty sure they have the same thing where their abilities change as well. So you'll be wandering along in the first dungeon, or the second dungeon you come across to, and one of the FOEs will appear. Risky enemies will appear, and you're like, wonder what this is, and then you fight it. And you're like, oh, it's 5 Inaba rabbits who all crit me for 150 damage, which is half of my health, and also I can't hit them because their agility is so high. I hope you saved! There's also gold enemies you can get, which will give you like extra money and items, and again, they have shuffled weaknesses and super high evasion, so they're hard to kill. It's trying to be the gold enemies from Persona 4, but they're less rewarding. It's trying to be those, and it's not doing it. Because again, you don't know what it's going to be, they're super rare, and you may not even get to kill them. And lastly, the DLC quest that you get is just one quest chain. It's about a girl, I don't know. I'm gonna be real with you. I've beat every SMT game since the early 2000s. Everything from Devil Survivor to Devil Summoner to the core SMT games. There was the other DS game that wasn't part of the main series. I don't remember what it's called. I beat the Soul Hackers 1 remake. I love this franchise. I couldn't play this game past the halfway mark. I looked up the ending just to see what it was. I can't play it. It's awful, especially when you compare it to the rest of the franchise. And I hope this is a one-off and not like the direction they are going forward. Because I can't do it. I love Atlas. I love Shin Megami Tensei. I love Persona. But if this is the direction they're going to go with it, it's going to be a problem for me and not being able to play my favorite games. This game fails hard. On the grade scale, it gets like a 35. That's it. 35 out of 100. That's it. Boom. Put it here. Put it here. Put it down here. Just, I can't deal with it. So, don't buy it. Or do buy it. I want them to make more games. But don't expect to have fun with it. It's a hard thing, right? I mean, obviously, speak with your wallet, and I'm just one opinion out of hundreds. But from what I see, between the bland environment, the subpar gameplay, the mediocre story where you're just chasing around MacGuffins, like, it's not worth it, man. Go buy Digimon Survive. It's better. Alright, that's all. If you enjoyed the video, which you probably didn't, because I was angry the whole time. But if you did, and you want to see more angry videos when it happens, be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. In the description, you'll find links to my Twitch channels and stuff. Ring the bell. Oh my god, YouTube is a pain. Also, in the comments, tell me what is your favorite Shin Megami Tensei game. And don't tell me this one, or do. Either way, it's video interaction. But anyways, laters.